Hey, I'm Pastor Craig, and I'm here with Scott Wilson, who was the pastor who spoke this past Sunday on John 11. And we're just going to interact just a little bit, building a bridge to Sunday, building a bridge from Sunday into our Monday to Friday living. Scott, you were talking about sometimes we feel like God doesn't come through for us. We have expectations that He's not meeting, or timetables that He's not meeting. And you drew attention to that reality with Jesus being aware of Lazarus being sick, and of all things, he let him die. And He had purposes for that. And you mentioned that there were at least a couple reasons that came to mind of why God sometimes doesn't come through on our expectations. Sometimes He doesn't come through in the ways that we would expect or desire. Wondering if you could just remind us of what those two things were and elaborate maybe a little bit on why God does that and what that looks like.
Yeah, sure, gladly. Well, the couple reasons I emphasized yesterday in the sermon were, one, so God is glorified, and the second, that we would learn to trust Him more. I spent a lot of time in the sermon talking about the trust aspect, so maybe I'll highlight the God's glory aspect. Mm-hmm. And I think the point to emphasize there is to just constantly remember that everything God does ultimately is for His glory. Everything He does in our lives and in history is for His glory. Even Christ said the epicenter of history, the cross of Christ, ultimately was for the glory of God, even though it displayed His love, and we had incredible benefits from that. The ultimate purpose of that is God's glory, and we will glorify Him for that eternally. And the reason why I think that's so significant for us to remember is, frankly, we are glory hounds. Even those of us who are redeemed, we're constantly just trying to steal some of the glory from God and take the glory and make it all about us. And so I believe that's why God often works in ways to remind us, hey guys, ultimately this is about me and my glory, not you. And so we need to be striving to live lives like Paul says in Galatians 2:20, I no longer live, it is Christ in me who is alive. Everything I do is for Him. Everything I do points to Him. Everything I do brings Him glory.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, of course.
One of the things that you mentioned was this analogy that I found really compelling about living life. It feels like sometimes we're going through a maze and we're running into dead ends after dead ends, and we wonder where God is in that, and we're trying to trust, and yet we get frustrated by these dead ends. And I was just wondering if there's somewhere in your life that you've maybe experienced that, of life being like a maze, wondering where God was, and yet where God maybe did grow your faith or your trust in Him through that.
Yeah, right. Well, maybe instead of highlighting a specific case, there have been a number of times in my life where I have, looking back, shamefully, even sinfully, been frustrated at God and questioning God because, you've given me this experience, you've given me these giftings, you're not using me. Why are you not using me? Why are you using that person, but you're not using me? For years, feeling stuck, feeling like I'm not going anywhere. And then finally, when He does move, I've noticed two things in my life. One, obviously, because He's doing it, it's the perfect place for me. And it's not by that, and I should probably emphasize this because I maybe didn't emphasize it as much in the sermon as I should have. That doesn't mean that everything's just going to be perfect, this thing that you've been waiting for, that God finally moves you in, it's going to be this wonderful, perfect, flawless event. What is perfect about it is that because God moved this way in your life, that you are exactly where you need to be. So even though it's not necessarily perfect and there's still difficulties, you can rest in that fact. And then hopefully the next time you can remember, I remember when God did this before, hopefully I can trust Him. That's a part, frankly, that I failed in. I've seen God move in my life, and then I get frustrated again the next time, and hopefully He can get through my hard head one of these times.
But hopefully there's an accumulated track record, right? Of seeing God's faithfulness over time, and we even, our thick-headedness, we can begin to see God has carried me so many times, so far. I really should be able to trust Him for this next leg.
And that's 100% correct.
Yeah.
And I think, again, that you're highlighting why he does that. And I think something else just along those lines to remember is, I remember John Piper sent out this tweet years ago that just stuck with me. And it was something like, at any given point in my life, God is doing 10,000 things and I can maybe see 3 of them.
Wow.
God is orchestrating so much in my life and the lives around me, and I'm just kind of focused on this little tiny bit. I think we need to step back, say, God, you're God, I'm not God. You know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. I'm just going to trust you.
And I also see in there an opportunity to pray for an expanded vision. Lord, would you help me to see
That's right.
more of what you're doing?
That's right. That's good.
Probably some kind of weaning process that we need. Help me get my eyes off of all my strivings and my strugglings.
Exactly right.
And learn how to rest and find joy in what God is doing.
And life's just so much better when we actually are just able to rest.
Oh, man. Wow. I got to ask you one more thing. So you described life sometimes as a horror show that we're living, as if people are walking around spiritually dead like zombies, as if they're from The Walking Dead, and they're opposing God, opposing Christians. And just on a little bit lighter take on that, so if that's the case, that there were zombies in this world, I don't know if everyone knows, but Scott is a Krav Maga guru, and so I'm just wondering if the zombie was to attack, like if I were to be the living dead zombie attacking you, what kind of self-defense move would you have?
Yeah, I love that question. You know, what's funny is I've never actually seen a single episode of The Walking Dead. I've never seen a zombie movie. I'm not really into that stuff. So pretty much all my understanding of zombies comes from, what is it, 1984, Michael Jackson's Thriller video.
Oh, yeah.
Which, for those of you who are younger, if you haven't seen that, you definitely need to go on YouTube and make sure you see the extended version of Michael Jackson's Thriller.
It's like 17 minutes long.
Yes, it's incredible. You have to see it. So based on that experience, I guess my defense move is you got to dance with them, right? That's the defense move.
You got to dance with them.
You got to dance with the zombies.
Dance with the zombies. There it is, from Scott's mouth to your heart. Dance with the zombies. I think we're going to leave it right there. Hey, if you would like to rehear or re-listen to Scott's sermon, it's on our website, and we'll put up a link for that. And we hope you have a great week pursuing the Lord, growing your trust in Him. Thanks so much, Scott.
Thanks, Greg.